So talking about pride to be Ukrainian, like I mean, I've been competing for Ukraine since I was 14 years old. I've been wearing Ukrainian uniform, um, but it never meant as much as it means right now.
This is Climbing Gold. Where were you when Russia began its invasion of Ukraine?
I was in Kiev, in our capital, with my mom and my sister. We had an official training camp, um, and we kind of, for a few weeks before that, there was like so much anxiety in the air. You could like actually feel it, like you could touch it. That's what it felt like. Everyone was worried. Everyone was like, "Oh, is it going to happen or not?" And as much as I was like worried and I didn't know if it's gonna happen, at the same time I was like, "Oh, come on, like it can't happen. It is 21st century. Like we are living in the world where like this is just ridiculous. Like it can't happen." But like we did have a plan of what to do, like how to escape. Like the cars were always filled up with gas. Um, we knew that like if something were to happen, we know what to do basically. And the family kind of divided into my grandparents not wanting to leave because it's their home, and they my grandpa is very much pro-Ukrainian patriot who would, if he could, go fighting already for Ukraine. And my parents being like, well, we don't want to leave because we have all the businesses, our home is here, like everything is here, but also like we gotta make sure that our kids are in safety. So whenever it happened, we were in Kiev and we woke up from the explosions, from the sound of explosions at 5 a.m. in the morning. And both me and my mom looked at each other and was like, what was that? Like, what are those sounds? And then we just laid there for a minute and it happened again. And we pulled out our phones and the news were just all over the place saying that it started. There are explosions all over Ukraine. And I remember having like all of my stuff like all over the apartment that we were renting and trying to pack it with my hands shaking from fear and the unknown, the uncertainty, what's going to happen in the next minute. We packed up the car, took my sister and started driving towards Poland, and it took us 4 days to reach Germany, which usually takes, like less than 2 days. We spent 2 days just on the border with Poland, because obviously everyone was very scared and everyone was panicking and everyone was trying, the people that could leave, they were trying to leave. And like the roads were crazy. People started driving on the wrong side of the road to get out faster, and it was a mad situation. And then we get to the border with Poland and there is this huge 5 kilometer line of cars, and you are moving every few minutes for like 5 meters forward, and there is no food, there is no way to stop or rest, and we just kept changing with my mom and kept driving, arriving in Germany fully exhausted after this experience, but also kind of realizing what a privilege it was that we had a car, that we were able to escape, and then we had our family left behind in Ukraine. My grandparents, my dad stayed behind and was helping bring people to the border, driving them from my hometown to Poland and coming back. And yeah, the next few weeks were like surreal and such a blur. We were trying to like get as many people out as we could, like all of the climbing kids and teenagers that we cared about, to get them out of there, because obviously it's hard to flee with the whole family. But most of the parents were really concerned to at least send off their kids to safety. Um, yeah, so that's what we were doing for the first few weeks, trying to organize all kinds of uh, hard to talk about. Um, all kinds of like aid and help that we can send back to Ukraine, and any fundraisers that we could organize and think of to help.
And what were you mostly feeling when the invasion started? And how do you feel now?
I felt a lot of fear at first, and then when I was in safety, I felt a lot of anger. Like I was like really, really angry. There wasn't like devastation and like giving up, or like it was like an overwhelming feeling of like, what the fuck? And I just wanted the whole world to stop and resolve this. And the heartbreaking was to see that the world didn't stop and everyone kept going and nothing really changed. Like it was in the news everywhere, but like mm, mm, everyone kept going. Like everyone started to feel like it's the new normal, which is an awful thing to say. Yeah, and then I felt a lot of pride, because honestly, in the beginning of the invasion, I was afraid that the Ukraine is not gonna last even a few days. All of us were afraid of it. I mean, look at the sizes of Russia against Ukraine. It's fucking massive. And we were all thinking that, I don't know, maybe there is not going to be a Ukraine in the next few weeks. And then Ukraine stood up like I've never seen, even in history, I've never seen anything like that. We united and we fought hard, and I felt so much pride. I felt so much pride to be Ukrainian, to be from this country that is fighting so hard for its freedom. It was inspiring to see and heartbreaking at the same time, because so many lives have been given to that. So many futures that are never gonna happen because of such a just useless just useless war. I'm still feeling very much overwhelmed and very much angry, and lots of different feelings that I have experienced and had to process over the last 2 years.
That national pride that you describe, the pride in seeing Ukraine resist the invasion and still exist 2 years later, did that national pride exist before the invasion? I mean, basically, I'm curious because we see this through many Ukrainian climbers and sort of the Ukrainian climbing community that people are so proud to be Ukrainian. And I'm just sort of curious, did you feel that same pride 10 years ago, or is that sort of as a result of the invasion?
Yeah, it's a really good question actually, because as you know, Ukraine for so many years was a part of USSR, so we had a huge influence from Russia. Russia was trying to wipe Ukrainian language off, trying to unite us all in being one country. Um, and for a while, I didn't really understand it, like especially like as a teenager, like you don't really understand why you speak Russian. You just speak Russian. You've always spoken Russian. You've always also spoken Ukrainian. You had both languages. That just was normal. And then when the unofficial invasion started, the one in 2014, the one that Russia said that they had nothing to do with, you were like, oh wait, what is going on? This is weird. Like, is what does this mean? And we still didn't realize it because it happened on the very east of Ukraine, and we didn't experience it on our skin. So like we kind of were like far away from it, and it felt like, oh, is it really happening? I think it's happening. So talking about pride to be Ukrainian, like I mean, I've been competing for Ukraine since I was 14 years old. I've been wearing Ukrainian uniform. Um, but it never meant as much as it means right now. and the pride that I had. I remember being like, oh, Ukraine is great, it's my home. But it would be amazing to get out of Ukraine and go somewhere else where there are better opportunities, where there are better infrastructure for climbing, where I can achieve my goals and all of these things. I was trying to really get out of Ukraine, as many of us, because it felt like there is a better world, there is a better future somewhere else. And then once the full invasion started, that feeling changed. This feeling that united us, that made us know, like, we are Ukrainians, we are proud to be Ukrainians. Ukraine is gonna stand up and fight for 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 the right of being Ukraine. That I think changed a lot for a lot of people, and my pride grew immensely at the time. Like, you're right, at 10 years ago I wouldn't feel that way. I feel it now because we are facing an enemy, we are facing a threat. We know that united we are stronger. So yeah, that did change, and in that way I'm really proud of my country in the way it did, like it is navigating and going through such a hard time.
Do you feel like what you're doing with your climbing is a form of resistance, or just
Um,
a way to support Ukrainian pride and is it sort of your contribution?
yes, so that's exactly what I went through with climbing in the beginning of invasion. Whenever it started, I really lost purpose in climbing. I didn't understand, like, would I be why would I be doing this? Why would I keep competing when people in my country are dying? It just felt useless. Like, I am not allowed to do such a thing. Like, competition climbing was always about fulfilling my potential, joy of it, the connection with people. There are so many things that I enjoy about it. And suddenly I find myself in a position where I do not allow myself to enjoy it because I feel guilty for it. Because how can I enjoy something when the war is going on? So for months after full invasion, I felt really lost, and my heart and my head wasn't in competitions at all. I was doing it just to keep doing it because the world kept going, No one paused. No one was like, okay, now we don't do competitions, let's figure this out. So it just felt wrong to me, and I even remember questioning if I should compete at the European Championships in Munich in August, because it just felt like I'm not feeling it anymore. Like, I'm very much a person who listens to themselves. I like always ask myself, what is the right thing to do? Like, what is it that I want? Like, I'm very much in tune with myself, and here I find myself in a position where I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know if I should be doing this. I do not enjoy it anymore. Maybe I should just stop and just keep climbing for myself. And honestly, looking back, so many athletes have retired in the first half a year of the invasion because they were not able to answer those questions for themselves. Um, and at the time, what really helped was my current coach, Malik. Malik Talib, he is from Lebanon, and he fled Lebanon when he was 18 to go to Canada because of the war. So I knew Malik from a few years before that, and we kind of became friends and became closer. And then whenever the full invasion started, talking to him felt like he really understands. Because, like, you can talk to people about it and people can care, and they can try their hardest to understand what you're going through, but unless they lived through it, they have no idea. And that's what made it so different, because Malik, he didn't just know what I'm going through, he had the same experience, and without even me talking about it, he knew what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. So it made perfect sense, that I felt really close to him, and that it was really a deciding factor that I trusted someone with my preparation for Paris, someone who knows where I'm at. And we talked about, being my coach. And the first real conversation that happened was him trying to walk me out of my darkness with competition climbing, trying to answer all of those questions that I had, that I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing it. I don't know if there is any point to keep doing it. And the point that he brought to me was that me being back in Ukraine wouldn't help much. But me being here, showing up for competitions, wearing my Ukrainian uniform, and doing well is a representation of Ukraine in the world. And not only I can remind the world that the war is still going on and we still need your support, we still need your donations, we still need you to stand by us. It also is a hope for Ukraine to see Ukraine being represented at the world stage, to see that people are fighting and we are on all fronts, we care and we want the world to not forget about us and
Does
see
that
how resilient Ukraine and Ukrainians can be.
does that feel like an opportunity to help represent Ukraine, or does that feel like added pressure on top of the already very challenging competition schedule?
Honestly, at the time, it felt like a privilege, and it still feels like a privilege. It still feels like this is the best thing I can do for my country now, for my country that I deeply care, that is going through such a hard time. So no, it is less of a pressure for me and more of a opportunity to have this small influence